Before we could start our class today, as I said that we are going to talk about that what are the do's and don'ts for the research report. Now that the topic submission is over, right? Yesterday was the last date for the topic submission. Okay. So please remember that the topics which are not submitted through the Moodle, okay, the topics which are not approved, if you start writing your research report without the approved topic, right, then I'm not going to accept that, and that person will automatically receive zero. Because the importance of approving the topic is because we don't want two people to have same topic, right? So that is why it's very important to get your topic approved. Okay. Alhamdulillah, I have all the students who have submitted the topics. Okay. But if you have a topic clash with the other student, yes, every day in the night I upload a list on the Moodle wherein the topics which have been selected by the students, I upload those topics in the Moodle. So before you could select a topic for you, make sure you check that list. Okay, this is the list. These students have already taken this topic. So there's no use of doing a futile exercise. You send me a topic which is already being selected by another student, right? So it's a good idea that you check the list. So it really takes a lot of time for me to go to the Moodle to make sure that which student has submitted the topic, look at the timing, then I copy so I'm taking so much of effort doing all this, right? Look at the student. Okay, this student has submitted this topic at 10:25. This one submitted the same topic at maybe earlier than him, like maybe 9 a.m. in the morning. So this one should get the preference. So when I'm doing all this, I'm just trying to make things easier for all of you, right? Then I make an Excel sheet, and every day in the night by 11 p.m. I upload that Excel sheet in the Moodle. So why are you sending me the topics which have already been selected by other students? So please look at the latest list, check which topics have already been taken, then only upload your topic in the Moodle. Okay, now the submissions have already closed because 11:59 p.m. yesterday the submissions were closed. So now that I'm going to do is that I'm going to send you an email on the Moodle that I'm going to extend the submission for today, only for today, right? So today 11:59 I will extend the submissions, right? So make sure all your topics are selected by today because we really don't have time. The semester has already squeezed, right? The submission date for the researchers is 15th of April. And imagine after 15th of April I need to read every research report. I have so many of students, and reading that and grading that will it's going to take a time, right? So please finish off, select the topics, and start working on your topics. Okay, start collecting the resources for your research report so that you can actually get good grades in it, right? Now, I'm going to present a presentation where I'm going to tell you that, what things, I've already uploaded, if you see in the Moodle, I've already uploaded this one, the rubrics. Where is it? The rubrics. So when you are basically making your research, right, make sure you have a rubrics printout in front of you, right? So that you know that, okay, did I do this? Okay, I'm going to get 10 points for this. Because I will start grading the research reports. I'm also going to keep a printout of rubric report in front of me and then grade your research reports. So this rubric is very, very important. Take a printout of it and maybe stick it right in front of your desk so that you look at the rubrics and draft your researches as per the rubric. Is that clear to everyone? Did you all understand how important this rubric is? Because it's going to tell you that every section has this section has 10 points, this one has 20 points, this one has 30 points. Imagine if you don't write enough information about diagnosis and treatment, you're going to lose 30 points for it, right? So based on this rubric, I'm going to grade all your research reports. Okay, number number one. Number two is that there are certain things which can help you to draft a good research report. Okay, so based on my experiences, when I graded the research report, previously, so I've made this presentation so that it can help you, all of you, so that you don't repeat any mistake, right? You don't do all those mistakes and incorporate in your research reports and you lose your grades, because I don't want anybody to lose the grades. Okay, so first of all, if you don't submit the topic on time, you've already lost the grades, because a very small percentage of the grades are there for the, did you submit the topic on time? If you're not submitting on time, then automatically, god forbid, you will get zero for that research report, because it's not, the topic is not approved. Approval is very, very important, right? So as I said that I'm going to extend it for today as well, 11:59 p.m. for today. I'm going to extend it for all of you. So make sure you submit your topics by today. Okay, you finalize your topics by today. And please remember, there's no need to select the topic from the list which I've given you. Any topic will be accepted by me. The only thing is, two students should not be sharing the same topic. Yes, Mariam, as I said that the topics which were already submitted before yesterday, okay, no problem. I'm not going to mark them down for all that. Even if I'm going to as I said, that I'm going to extend the submissions for today as well. I'm not going to no, I'm not going to demark you for all that. For today also, it's okay, no problem. But from tomorrow also, if you extend it till tomorrow, it's going to be a problem for you as well as for me, because we really don't have time, right? You need to start working on your research reports now, right? Okay, no, no worries, Mariam. Okay, I'll take care of that. Okay. Okay, now let's try to say this is the due date. Okay, the due date has to be 15th. As I said that the semester has been squeezed, so there'll be no extension for this due date for sure. April 15, 11:55 p.m. Please remember that even if it's 11:56 p.m., I'm not going to not only me, it's like the Turnitin is not going to accept it, the model is not going to accept it, right? So please, everyone, remember that this is the due date, and do not submit it beyond that. And you need to submit it only via the Turnitin. Okay, so because the Turnitin is the one which is going to check your plagiarism, right? So it has an inbuilt plagiarism checker, so that is very, very important. Okay, I've already opened the submissions via Turnitin. Okay, once you're ready with your research report, you can submit it via the Turnitin. Okay, now, very important point. Okay, you choose the medical condition. You've already chosen the medical condition. Now we are all ready with that, like almost every student is ready. I think couple of students have, we just have couple of students left out, otherwise everybody has submitted the research report. Okay, and it has to be only through the Moodle, not through the email. Okay, number one, name of the condition. What are you going to write in the name of the condition? Okay, the name of the condition is basically simply, for example, if I chose a disease like pancreatitis, right? So if this is the disease which is the inflammation of the pancreas, so that means my name is that the pancreas are inflamed, right? So the first and foremost, you have to write what is the scientific name of it and what is the common name of it. Very, very important. So if it doesn't have a common name or scientific name, that's okay, right? But it's very important you find out both the scientific names as well as the common names. For example, if my report is on swine flu, okay, so swine flu is its common name, right? We all call it a swine flu, right? But what is the scientific name? It has it has a scientific name, right? It has H1N1, right? Then we call it pandemic 09, because the outbreak was in 2009, 2010, right? So make sure you write a common name, which is a swine flu, and then the pandemic name, for example, is H1N1 PDM09 is the medical name of it, right? And you can also write the we often use a shorter name for, like, a COVID-19 is a shorter name, right? So simply we call H1N1 is a shorter name for the swine flu, right? So the first paragraph should be about the name of the condition. You can just give a a small kind of a introduction about where was this disease started. For example, let's say COVID-19, it was started in China, for example. It was first discovered in China, right? Or H1N1, it was first discovered in Mexico, right? And then, and how it was found, where it was found, a little bit introduction about the disease with the common name and the scientific name. Is it clear about the first para, the name of the condition? Are we okay about it? Great. No, it's okay. You can mix up the for hypothermia, hypo, you can mix up of both of them and write about the first para, right? Your research should not go beyond like minimum. I want 2 pages. I don't want less than 2 pages. Like the minimum thing is the 2 pages, but you can write as much as you want because I have students writing like almost 10 pages a research report or 5 pages a research report. But the minimum should be 2 pages. 2 pages are okay for me, right? So that was about your first paragraph where you write all these informations which I told you. Then comes your etiology. Okay. So that here you will write what is the cause of the disease. There can be many causes about it. For example, if I have the pancreatitis, right? I have an alcohol abuse. I have a person has a gallstone which is blocked in the pancreatic, duct. Okay. Or I can have sometimes, patient is continuously on glucocorticoids, that can also cause this disease. Sometimes hypercalcemia, there are many reasons of that particular disease. So what is the causative agent, right? Coronavirus. So for example, we have the COVID virus for that, right? You can write about what is the genome of that virus, what proteins it produce, right? Just in case if it's a swine flu or any other flu, right? So what is the, so it's a SARS-2, for example. SARS-2 is, so you can write about SARS-2, a little bit background about it, the causative agent. Okay. So that's about the causative agent. Second para, you will write about the causative agent. That means what is basically the cause of that particular disease. What causes that disease? What is the cause of that disease? Very, very important, right? Third para, you will write about the organ affected, right? Which organs are affected? Okay. So if you say organs affected, for example, as we know, for example, let's start COVID virus. We know it starts from the nose, goes to the pharynx, larynx, right? Even the lungs, right? Respiratory tract, right? So something like that you have to write. Or maybe in pancreatitis, you have the organs are affected, like, it causes the pancreas are affected, even the surrounding tissues of pancreas are affected, sometimes gallbladder is affected. Simply you need to write what are the organs which are affected. Are we okay about it? Did you all understand? Okay, maybe it attacks your immune system, it weakens your immune system, like coronavirus, right? COVID-19, right? So your immune system is also will start fighting for it, right? So something like that you can write, the body response and the organ affected. That is about the organ affected, right? Now the stages of disease development. What do you mean by stages of disease development? Okay, for example, a particular disease will start that, okay, it starts with, okay, maybe for example coronavirus, it starts with, having a fever, having a headache, then the nasal congestion, uh, then by the end, as the disease progresses, finally it affects the lungs, right? It might cause pneumonia or bronchitis, right? So this is like a progression of the diseases. There are various stages of a particular disease. Okay. And in the stages of disease, it's very important you write the time period also. Okay. Okay, for example, it starts within 4 to 5 days a person is infected, then within 14 days this happens, right? Or maybe in pancreatitis it starts with the inflammation. Okay. And then at the end a patient can die also because of alcohol consumption, or so all these things, you can start what are the various stages of a particular disease. Okay. Make sure in the stages of disease development you also write about the days. Okay. Is it okay? And in during those stages, what are the symptoms in the patient? Right? Does the patient need hospitalization? Right? So all these things you can write in the stages of diseases. Okay. For example, let's say in the coronavirus, okay, then if patients are kind of, the chronic patients, for example, if the lungs are completely involved, what do we need to them? What do we need to do to those patients? They need hospitalization, isn't it? So what do we need to do in the hospital, right? They need to put in the on the ventilators, right? They need the artificial supply of oxygen, right? So because their lungs are not strong enough so that they can actually breathe in and breathe out, their ventilation is not normal, so they need an external support. So all these things will come in the stages of the disease development. Did you all understand what I'm trying to say? Everybody? Stages. You will write the time period, hospitalization if required. How does the disease progress basically from this to this? What is that in Arabic, Abdul Aziz? Ghain Gush. What's gush? What is this? What is this supposed to mean? Means yes, you acknowledged it, right? Okay, get that. We are all okay till now, right? We understood what we need to know till now with the we just discussed till stages of disease development, right? Get that. Okay. Now moving on further, let's talk about the diagnosis, right? In the diagnosis modalities, what you need to know, you need to know, okay, you have a patient who has this disease. Okay, so how are you going to diagnose? For example, if I will again take an example of COVID virus because that is very normal. What do? We do a swab test, isn't it? You do a swab test, the pharyngeal, you take this, you take the sample from the pharynx of the pharyngeal sample or the nasopharyngeal sample, right? That you start with that. Or if you think that patient has the progression of disease is too very much, the lungs are involved, you might go for the x-ray, you might go for the CT scan, you might go for the ultrasound, isn't it? You might go for the blood test to check his creative CRP protein, right, for the coronavirus. Or maybe in any other disease, you need any physical examination. Okay. Or you might need maybe whatever tools you use, any diagnostic tools which you use, ultrasound, CT scans, any enzyme testing, right? Or checking for any deformalities. Okay. So whether this organ has been deformed, to check that, we need to do this test or that test, because it might vary from one disease to the other disease. Okay, did you all understand what I'm trying to say? Whether the patient has any heart problems, or if it has heart problems, then how are you going to check that? Okay, what kind of tests you will do, what kind of enzymes, what kind of CT scans you will do. So diagnosis is basically how, and you will use both conventional and the innovative. For example, in the coronavirus, the innovative method is like, the swab test which we use, and we use the RT-PCRs, right? So that the results we could get the results, in a very shorter span of time. That will be the innovative method of testing the virus in the patient's, sample. Did you understand what I'm trying to say? Okay, so that was about the diagnosis, how you will diagnose a particular. Could we consider follow up in the stages of disease development, or it should be no, follow up should come over here. Follow up, you will talk about here whether that patient needs further investigations. Okay, whether that patient was advised to go and visit a particular specialist. Okay, whether that patient was asked to, okay, you have to do the biopsy of this tumor, right? That will come in the follow up here, depending upon the condition. Okay, so after you die, because here you are simply diagnosing the disease, Muhammad. Here you are just diagnosing the disease, right? Then based on your diagnosis, you're a doctor. Based on your diagnosis, okay, you refer a particular patient, go to this hospital, go to that hospital, do this test, right? Go and see this specialist. Okay. Or if it's a diabetes mellitus, okay, you need to in the follow-up strategies, you'll say the patient has to follow up every 15 days with a endocrinologist. Or a patient has to every 1 month, uh, a patient has to follow up with his doctor, right? Or every 3 months a patient has to do this specific test to find out what is the average amount of glucose present in his blood, right? So that will come in the follow up strategies. Here you are simply diagnosing the disease. How did you come to know that the patient has this disease, and what strategies did you use? Okay, Mohammed. Okay, great. What strategies did you use here? That will be in the diagnosis. And now in the treatment choices. Treatment choices is all about, you can divide it as per the disease. Okay, treatment, if a patient has a mild disease, I'm going to give these drugs. Okay, if the patient has a severe disease, I might have to go for a surgery. I might have to go for chemotherapy. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So that will be in the treatment choices, right? In the treatment choices, you're simply here, this is all about giving drugs, what drugs you're giving, what diet chart you're making for a diabetic patient, okay? Or what kind of, okay, for example, if you are if you have a coronavirus patient, you tell him, you have to wash your hands now and then. Even that is a kind of treatment. I know it's not a treatment, but yes, that can actually protect that particular person, that can actually prevent the transmission of the disease to other people, right? So so in the treatment choices, you can simply write about what is the best treatment. Okay, I have this antiviral drug, use this antiviral drug. Okay, so this can be done to release to relieve the symptoms or to relieve the pain of a particular person. Okay, so all antiviral, anti-steroidal, whatever drugs you have, non-steroidal, whatever analgesics, whatever medicines you have to give, that will come in the treatment choices. Or IV fluids, anything, any drugs. Okay, and for example, as I was discussing about the pancreatitis, there you can also go for, okay, he might needs a surgery. Okay, to remove the gallstones, that can decrease the inflammation in person, right? Or sometimes removal of the pancreas, right? So that will be the treatment choices. Are we okay about the treatment choices? Mm, great. Okay. Alhamdulillah. Now, for the follow up strategies, I already explained about the follow up strategies. Follow up strategies, for example, okay, I have put the patient under full medication. Or, for example, in coronavirus, isolate the victim for 14 days. Okay, so that he cannot spread the infection to the other person. Okay, monitor the patient for the next 6 months. Okay, for his any other signs. So that is like a follow up strategy. Sometimes you need to educate a patient. Okay, for example, in coronavirus patient, a doctor might educate a patient. Do you know that you need to maintain a proper hand washing hygiene? Okay, you need to avoid touching your eyes, nose and mouth, right? So all these will be the follow up strategies. Okay, or you might think that, oh, patient needs help of another doctor. Okay, you have to send the patient to this specialist. Okay, who is an endocrinologist. Okay, or a patient has to take this medication for 1 year. Okay, so, or as I said, that refer to any specialist. So all these things will come in the follow-up strategies. Okay, and so basically follow up and future strategies is kind of, sometimes I've seen students, they mix this up. They try to make they try to combine the follow up and the future strategies. But that's okay. If you think that you can combine follow up and future strategies, it's okay with me. I will not deduct any grades that this part is missing in it, right? So don't worry about that, right? So okay, give vaccination. You might, in the follow up strategies, you might ask patient, okay, now you should take the COVID vaccine. For that will come in the follow up strategy, right? Or for example, if it's a kidney transplant case, right? So you might write that, this patient needs lifelong medications. Okay, immunosuppressants. So all these things will come in the follow up strategy. Are we okay till now? Did you all understand how you have to write your research report? What all should be included? Good, alhamdulillah. All clear till now. Okay. So once you have, you know that you, okay, you have to stick to this format. The research should be only in this format. You cannot change this format. Whenever when I check the research report, first of all, I know what I do is like, the way I check the research report, I make sure that, okay, before I read the research report, I check that whether she has written name of the condition, okay, etiology is there, okay, organ affected is there, stages of development is there, okay, diagnosis, she has written all these seven things. As I said, the eighth one is okay, you can combine it with it, but these seven things are mandatory. Whenever I grade a research report, the first thing what I see is like, I see the font, that is like, I want a research report to look like it's submitted by a university person, not by a grade 9 and 10 student, right? So I'm going to talk about what font you will stick to. Like, it should be Times New Roman 12 font, right? I will show the research reports from my students from previous years. I'm going to upload one of that. You'll see that, how beautifully, how neatly they have, not haphazardly, with no alignment, with so much of spaces in between, as if, I will not accept those research reports, because I'm dealing with university students, not with grade 10 or grade 12 students there. Did you all understand? It has to be written the way, for example, see, this is basically done so that you all tomorrow become the good researchers, you know how to submit a good research report. So this is a part of your training. If you will not learn it here, you will never learn it in future then. So this is like part of, uh, even if you're going to be doctors or pharmacists, we all need to write the research reports, right? So this is a part of your training. Okay, make sure your research reports are beautifully written. As I said, that the font should be only Times New Roman. Yes, you know how to select the font, ladies and guys, boys and girls. You know what is the Times New Roman? Yes, you know that, right? The font size should be 12 for the body. For the heading, you can increase, you can go for 26 for the headings, right? Maybe 24 or 26. But the body should be 12, not lesser than 12, not more than 12. Because with the 12 font, it looks very neat and tidy. It looks very attractive with 12 font. And your Moodle is going to accept only in the PDF formats or the Word formats. Please stick to these two. Okay. Not if you're writing in the Word, you want to convert it in the PDF, okay, or just submit it in the Word format. Anything will do. Okay. The number of pages, as I said, that minimum should be 2 to 3. It can go more than that, depends upon your research report. And put the information in the bullet form. Pictures are, of course, definitely, Mariam. I would love to see the pictures. Definitely. Yes, but neatly arranged. Yeah, that is very important. So you're writing something on the first page and putting the picture on the next page? No, right? It should be neatly arranged. And then no copy pasting. Very, very important. Paraphrasing. If you're getting the information from the internet, from the research journals, books, whatever, paraphrase the information. Because when I'm reading it, you can easily make out that this is like, information which she has copy and pasted it, right? So paraphrase the information. That is very important, right? And accepted plagiarism, very, very important. This is the first thing what I see, not only I see, when you will submit your research report, you should also see that, because it will show you as well what is the plagiarism percentage. If you find that, oh, it's 50%, remove it, change it, upload it again. Yes, Mohammed. Shoya intezar, I'm going to come to each and every point, trust me. That is coming up in the upcoming slides. Mohammed, give me a minute for that. Okay. So let's pay attention to the plagiarism. Okay. So we're all very serious about it. I'm going to share you a page with you. Look at this. This is what Moodle, my Moodle page looks like. Okay, no issues, Mohammed. That's okay. That was a good question, but yes, I'm going to talk about that as well. Okay, so this is my Moodle. How is my Moodle page? I have removed the names of the students over here. This is from my last year. See, these were the reports which got 100% grade. See, these were the students which were really good research reports. So this is a similarity percentage. Okay, it will not only show to me when you will submit your research report, because I remember when students submitted it before, they had it like 50%, right? So they remove it, make the changes, and you have to make sure that the similarity should be either 20% or it should be less than that. This is one of the main very important points, right? So grades will be deducted if it's not less than 20 or the 20%. Look at this. This person has only 12%. This has 11%, 18%, 18. Even if it's 20, it's okay. This has only 5, 7, 7, right? So these are some of the very good researches. I just got an example. So this is how it's going to show it to me, right? So so the moment your draft is ready, just try to upload it. And it's not going to, when you upload it, don't think that your marks are going to be, you know, deducted. No, it's your duty. It's mandatory that you upload your research and check the similarity percentage. Okay, and make the changes accordingly. Okay, did you all understand what I'm trying to say? So because Turnitin is something. Okay, let me tell you one thing, very important thing. uh, as I said, the accepted plagiarism is 20% or less. Okay, since you're submitting via Turnitin is a very excellent plagiarism checker. Okay, so don't think that you will bring a research report from my last year student or before that. No, because the last year student or even students before that, they all have submitted their reports in the Turnitin. Okay, so if your report is similar to what anybody else had submitted it last year, right? So it's going to anyways show it to me. So please do not use a report from a last year student or student who was there with us years before. Even if it was 10 years before, your Turnitin has a record for that. That is why we use Turnitin. We just don't use the Moodle. We use Turnitin for that, right? So you will be easily caught because you need to submit your report via Turnitin, which is going to check your report against all the reports submitted previously since we started this course, PBio. Did you all understand what I'm trying to say, guys and girls? So even if you're using, let's say, okay, for example, even if you're using some information from last year student, right? We can just take it as a reference. Let's see, oh, how she has made it. Okay, then just try to find out, because even if you use her one sentence, your plagiarism percentage is going to go up, right? No, I don't need to tell you, Eileen. You can see it yourself. No, you can see it yourself. The moment you see it, oh, it's more, it will show it. See, the same bar will be shown to you as well. Even you can see this percentage. So student will be notified by the Moodle itself that your percentage is higher, right? I'm not going to inform anybody. If I write a paraphrase about a research done by others or writing about the information, but in paraphrase, as I said, that paraphrasing is important. The moment you start submitting the same information, your plagiarism percentage is going to go up, right?
Doctor,
Yes, dear.
doctor, if I found out that, for example, the percentage of my plagiarism, for example, was like 15%, can
Mm-hmm.
I change it to make it less or no?
Yeah. You can do it. You can do it. That's what I said, that the moment you're ready with your first draft, quickly upload it, check the percentage. If you find that, oh, it's more, right? And then make the changes, and then you can check it every day for 3 times, 100 times in a day, right? That's perfectly okay. No issues at all.
Thank you.
No issues at all, right? This is your right. How will you get to know that whether my percentage is below 20 or not? That's what my students used to do. They used to upload it like morning, evening, afternoon, and make the changes, then upload it again, make the changes, then upload it again, right? So that is why your draft should be ready pretty much earlier, because you need to match it up with the plagiarism percentage as well, right? So you can't wait for till the last day and check the plagiarism. Then maybe within half an hour you have to make the changes, and submission time is after half an hour. What will you do then, right? So start early. It's going to save you. Start early. And you know, the biochemistry exam is the first exam, so we have to be very, you need to finish it off, within, I think, a week, right? So that you can concentrate on your other subjects as well as on your final exam. Okay, so no copy pasting. Yes, paraphrasing will do. The last page I will let you know about, Tanya, about once you're ready with your references, I'll let you know about that, right? I sometimes, if I feel that because of the references, I will let you know about that, Tanya, don't worry. Okay, so that was about the plagiarism. And then what else do I need to tell you? Okay, okay, no email submissions. Everyone has to submit through the Turnitin website, right? So this is the same thing what I told you, no copy pasting. Okay, now the question is, that you have selected your topic, you know what to do, but you need to do a literature survey, isn't it? So how will you do your literature survey? Please do not rely on Wikipedia. Wikipedia is nothing. It's like, it's just going to fool us around. It doesn't have any authentic, you know resource, right? So we will not use Wikipedia for any information, right? We are all going to use good websites, reputed journals, reputed textbooks. Go to the library. If you can't go to the library, access your online books. Online, I will show you. I have the slides for that as well. How will you access the library in your university? That's upcoming at the end of this presentation. Read the scientific papers, read the journals, right? Read good journals, right? And then write the information. Do not write the information from the Wikipedia, because your plagiarism percentage is going to be very, very high. Okay. Yes, Sarah, I'll show you. Yes, library web. Yes, Mohammed, I'm going to show you how to access the library website. Okay. I showed the same thing to the last year students as well. Okay. So yes, as I said that you must provide the literature citations. Very, very important. Now the question is, which websites should I use, right? You can use Google Scholar. That is like an authentic one. You can use PubMed. PubMed is something like which covers all the journals. PubMed has information from all the good scientific journals. You can use Google Scholar. Like I have read it here. Okay, it's here. PubMed, right? You can use any journal, because in medicine there are so many journals which are available. Like Elsevier is a journal, British Columbia Medical Journal, Journal of Columbia Oncology, Lancet is the most reputed one, right? So use anything. Use any textbooks. Go to the library, you will find a book on, Guyton is like a Bible of physiology. If you want to write something about disease progression, read the books, right, in the library, about the human physiology, right? Use any scientific proceedings, any scientific paper, but make sure whatever you're using, you have a reference for that, because your last page is a reference page, right, wherein you need to write the references as well. So that is why whatever you're using, it should be very, very reputed. It should not be just the Google Wikipedia. It should not be Google Wikipedia at all. Can I consider consulting a medical doctor for? Yes, definitely. If you feel like your father is a doctor, your uncle is a doctor, he can definitely help you. Definitely can help you about the disease modalities, about the stages of the disease development, right? But at the same time, you can't write his reference, right? Then, for example, if my father is a cardiologist, I will choose a topic based on that. Khalas, my research is done. I'll take all the information from him and done. Khalas, right? So it's not about that. Yes, you can take few points from your father, mother, relatives, but it's very, because if you take the information from your father and mother, what are you going to write in the reference page? right? So how are you going to learn how to find how to search the literature, you know, how to find a particular information about the disease is itself a, learning technique. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Basically, all this process is going to help you in your future how to do a literature survey, how to find out the material regarding a particular disease. That itself is very, very important. Yes, guide, that's coming up. Okay. Show our guide. Give me 2 minutes. That's coming up now. The reference style is coming up now. That's the next slide coming up. Okay. So you can have a consultation also, but like your research report should not be based on the consultation of a doctor. You should have done your own site, your own literature survey as well. Now the referencing style. The last page is the reference page, right? And make sure, please do not give me the web page like www dot. No, 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 no. I don't want all that. Even if you're writing the reference for a website, it should be properly formatted. Please, everyone. I'm going to upload few videos, okay? And I'm going to upload few reference pages from my students last year and before that, that can help you to draft, how your reference should look like, right? So there is a definite style for for writing your references. I don't mind you using any of these formats, any of these. It's all up to you. You can use APA, MLA, Vancouver, any of these formats can be used for your reference style, right? For example, if you choose to use APA, right? So APA says that what? You write the author name first, right? Then whatever authors you have, A, B, and C. Then you write year in the bracket. Then you write title of the article, okay, title of the periodical, what is the volume number from where you got the information, right? And then at the end you write the pages, and at the end you write the date of issue. This is the format for the APA. So if you want to use APA, this is like the most easiest of all, so you can use APA. I don't mind, it's perfectly okay for me, right? So nobody is going to ask you which format did you use, but what is important is you should follow a format. Don't write them, just for the sake of copy and pasting, no, because reference styling has also few points for that, right? We have few points for styling as well. If it's not referenced properly, then you might lose few marks for that. I think reference at the end of the paper, no, the text citations are not important. You guys are too young for all that. If you want to put the text citations, you can, perfectly okay. But if you don't have text citations, I'm not going to deduct your grades for that. Don't worry. But yes, at the end, I should have a reference page with all the references which you used. Yeah, it depends upon how many you can have. Minimum is five. You should have minimum 5 to 7 references. But you can go beyond that. Minimum 5 references should be there, Tanya. Okay? But you can go beyond that as well. Is it clear to everyone? So this was about the reference styling. So this is something like, even if you're writing a website, look at this, right? So it has, it's basically written so neatly, right? Even if he has mentioned the websites over here, right? So it should be in a proper format. Look at this. It is all of these references are in a proper format, right? So look at this. This is a reference page. So any reference style will do, but make sure every bullet point should follow the same reference style, right? You're following APA here, or you're following some other reference style over here. No, Vancouver here. No. If you're using APA, use APA for all of them, right? Okay. Moving on further, this is the same thing, the rubrics for all of you. Okay, then then the question was like, how we can access? See, sitting at home, you cannot go to the university. I know that every day you can't go to the university, but if you are in the university, you can access the university library. But still, even your, you can access the online resources from your Al Faisal University library. It's super duper amazing, always up to date. Millions and millions of articles are there, right? So click on Alphaisal e-library the way you click it here. The next page will come up something like this. Scroll down, go down. Okay, as you go down, you see something like this. Up, this page will pop up in front of you. So if you want to go to the articles and databases, click on this. You want the recent e-journals, click on this. You want an encyclopedia, any handbook, you need to know the meaning of anything, click on this. Subject guides, library guides, click on this. Any books, click on this, right? So everything is on the tip of your fingertips. Do you understand? So after you see this page, yes, Hannah, I will do that. Don't worry. Anything for you all. Don't worry at all. Don't worry. Okay. I will upload this PPT. Definitely. Okay. Okay. Then once you see this page, once you click, for example, I clicked on articles and databases just in case because I have a lot of research articles over here. Okay. It's giving me research articles from Springer, from so PubMed, like everything it has. Like so Lancet, it has many research articles. Let me see if I click on this. Okay, when I click on this, it will ask me to enter your username and the password. Okay, I will put my username and the password and log in, right? The moment I will log in, something like this might open, right? So let's say my topic is diabetes. I'll put diabetes and so many research articles will come up. Use the research articles, which are very recent. That will really help you. Like 2019, 18, 16, 17, right? So something like this will come up. Look at this. This is the name of the research article. Okay. Edition is this, publisher. See, this is the information from 2019, right? This is the recent one. Okay. So this is a review paper. Read this. Okay. Take out the information, whatever you want from it. Right. So this page will open in front of you. So based on this, you can put a lot of information, put a lot of keywords, and look for the information if you're using the your Alphaisal library, right? So look at this. It has, so many journals are also available. Click any of these journals. You can get any new information if you want something, which was recently published in the articles. So it can help you with that as well. I think that's all. That was all about it. So did you understand? I have put the screenshots for you. Click on this first. This page will open. Scroll down, scroll down. You will see this page. Click on whatever you want. Log in with your username and password, the same username and password which has been given to you by Al Faisal, and then you're all done. Thank you, Sarah. Did it make it easy for you all? Now you know what is expected out of you, right? So you'll give me good researches now. Alhamdulillah. 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 It's clear now, right? But thank you very much, thank you everyone. But still, don't feel, if you have any confusion, any topic, any issue, any question, you can either meet me in the office. You know that, right? You can either meet me in the office, or you can call me on my landline, or just drop an email. I will reply to the email. Thank you, all of you. It was helpful, right? So this is basically this was just to make sure that you write inshallah good, and I'm sure that you will definitely write good researches. I'm sure about it, right? I think I've covered all the points. Yes, about the formats, how to use the formats, I'm going to upload few videos on this. Okay, which can help you in referencing style. That is about it, I think. Yes, I think I have covered all the points. Are we all okay? Should we start now our regular lecture? We'll take a 5 minute break, or we'll take a 3 minute, not a 5 minute break. We'll take a 3 minute break, and till I will upload the presentation on your Zoom. Okay, you can take a water break. Okay, thank you, everyone. one more thing. You all saw the updated syllabus, right? Because of the royal decree, we had to prepone the semester. You all saw the updated syllabus. Did you see the changes in the syllabus? What changes were there in the syllabus? Did you see the revised syllabus, which I have uploaded a couple of days before? Uh, the revised syllabus, as you see that we have removed two chapters from that, right? The immunochemistry and the biosynthetic pathways are removed from it. See, immunochemistry, anyways, we don't teach that every year, okay? Because immunochemistry is exactly the same thing what is being taught in the P bio for chapter, PHSF for chapter number 12, lymphatic system. It's the same thing, the T immunity, the innate immunity, and the B cells, it's the same thing. So that's why every year we don't teach that, because it's the same information is there in the PHSF. Then yes, biosynthetic pathways, we teach that every year, but we had to remove the chapter just because the semester got squeezed up, right? Because of the royal decree. Okay. And I really didn't want to, I wanted, even if I could have kept that chapter, but I really didn't want you all to, kind of, because the biochemistry is the first exam, right? So it's not only about teaching you, it's also about, retaining the concepts. That's also important, right? So anyways, that next week our Wednesday class is getting cancelled on 7th, right? So that is why on Monday we'll have a combined class. Okay. Today I wanted to have a combined class, but then the students from the other chapter, right, I mean other class, they said that they have a physics exam today. So that is why we could not have combined class today. So I didn't want to overburden you all, because you already have an exam today, right? So yes, Monday we will have a combined class. Would that be okay? Island, it's there in the syllabus. Please read the syllabus. I've uploaded it on the Moodle there. Island. Okay. And then what else? So that means we now need to finish two chapters, right? We now need to finish this chapter which we have started, right? And then one more chapter. Then we are done. Okay. Then we can start with the review of the biochemistry. Okay. So the review week will be the 17th of April till 21st. 21st is the last day of the classes, as you know that. Okay. And the final exam is on 28th of April, 1 p.m. Okay. It is in the CDEX. Okay. So please read the updated syllabus, okay, which has been uploaded on the Moodle. So let's start with this chapter, bioenergetics and how body converts food in the uh, food to the energy, right? So this is like a self-explanatory thing, right? It self-explains that in this chapter we're going to talk about the food which we eat. Okay, how do we generate ATPs? How do we break the bonds present there, right? Present in the food, so that we can generate the energy from it, right? That is the chapter which is going to be all about. So few definitions coming up. What is the metabolism? You all know that it is sum total of all the chemical reactions which take place in a particular cell. Okay. What is the pathway? Definite, so many reactions, so many biochemical reactions in series, we call it a pathway. Okay. So you'll see that here we'll talk about many pathways. We'll talk about the TCA cycle. Okay. We'll talk about the electron transport chain. Okay. And the upcomings are the glycolysis. Okay. No, glycolysis is exempted now. That was in the last chapter. Okay. And then what is catabolism? Kata means what? Breaking, isn't it? This is something which we already know. Kata means breaking and ana means making something, right? So in the catabolism, what we do is some large molecules of the body, okay, we break them into smaller molecules. Why do we break them? Because we generate the ATPs out of those bond breakings, right? So, what kind of reaction do we expect in the catabolism? What kind of, do we release energy or do we absorb energy in the catabolism, boys and girls? Yes, Mohammed, Krebs cycle. So what do we do? Release energy, right? So can we say that catabolism is an exothermic? Exothermic? Yes, it is an exothermic reaction because it produces the energy, right? It releases the energy. What is anabolism? Ana means making up something. Okay. For example, if I made the proteins from the amino acids, that is the anabolism. If I made the albumin protein, right, from the proteins, it is the anabolism. That is making up something, right? So uh, in the anabolism, what you can expect is that the larger molecules which are made from the smaller ones, they use the ATP. So we use ATP here, right? We use energy here. So we can say that this kind of process is the endor endergonic. What is endergonic? That means we are using energy here. We're absorbing energy here, right? That is the anabolism. Okay. So now this catabol, as I said, that look at this. In catabolism, we as I said, cata means breaking down, right? We break the triglycerides into fatty acids, glycerols. You know all these things now because we have come to a stage wherein we know what is a triglyceride, we know what is a glycerol, we know what is a monosaccharide, what is an amino acid, what is a protein. We've reached to that stage where we know about all these molecules now, right? Because we studied about all these molecules now. So polysaccharides are converted into monosaccharides, proteins into amino acids, right? And further breakdown of these molecules will take place, right? Wherein you can either relieve, once you release the energy, okay, the oxidation of these small molecules will take place, and then further you release the energy, and whatever waste products are, they can go out, or these smaller molecules can be used up to build up something new. That can also be done. Okay. So usually in catabolism, if you see the if you talk about the overview of catabolism, what is there in the catabolism? Okay. In the catabolism, when we talk about the fats, carbohydrates, proteins, once we hydrolyze them, once we break them, right, into either fatty acids or glucose or amino acids, right, finally you will see that after all this, we reach to a stage wherein we produce a molecule called as an acetyl CoA. So please pay importance. So after all the breakdown, we get a molecule called as an acetyl CoA. Okay, that is like the stage 2. Stage 1 is food is being hydrolyzed in the stomach, intestines, and converted into all this. So stage 2 is basically by using the glycolysis. Okay, so glycolysis is not in this chapter. That was basically in the last chapter. Okay, the glycolysis which takes place in the cytoplasm of the, where does it take place? Cytoplasm of glycolysis, anybody? Of which cell organelle? Does anyone know that? Which cell organelle it is? Isn't it
Pancreas cell.
mitochondria? Mitochondria. Or where? In the cytoplasm of the cell. Where does it take place? Mitochondria or cytoplasm of the cell? Yes, cytoplasm of the cell, right? So once the glycolysis will take place, we will have an acetyl CoA, okay? And then we'll start with this acetyl CoA, and you will see that in this chapter, we will talk about the TCA cycle, okay, also called as the tricarboxylic acid cycle or the Krebs cycle, okay? What happens once you have this acetyl CoA, then the Krebs cycle will take place in the matrix of the mitochondria. Very, very important. The question says, where does Krebs cycle take place? So you have to know that it takes place in the mitochondrial matrix. Okay. So once the Krebs cycle is over, okay, in this chapter, once we'll discuss about the Krebs cycle, right? Then a lot of things will happen in the Krebs cycle. We will get carbon dioxide and other things like the electrons and all electron carriers and all that NADH and FADH2, right? So all those things will be taken to the next level. The next level is the oxidative phosphorylation. Okay, so in the oxidative phosphorylation we will see that the ultimate aim will be that we need to release the ATP, right? So that will be the last stage of the cellular respiration where we release the ATP. That is our aim. We need to produce ATP from all these food resources, right? So all this will be done. Stage 1, glycolysis. Stage 2, we get the pyruvic acid, right? Pyruvic acid will be converted into the acetyl CoA, right? And once we have an acetyl CoA, that will enter into the Krebs cycle. And once the Krebs cycle will be over, at the end of the Krebs cycle, we will have lot of electron carriers, right? They will enter into the oxidative phosphorylation, and finally we will have the ATPs produced at the end. That is the ultimate aim of this chapter. That is what we're going to talk about. Did you understand the overview of this chapter? We are not going to talk about glycolysis, stage 1. We're going to talk about the what? Krebs cycle and the oxidative phosphorylation. This is the main aim of this chapter. Is it clear? Did you all understand what we are going to talk about in this chapter? We're going to talk about Krebs cycle and the electron transport chain, or you can say the oxidative phosphorylation. Okay, and then anabolism, as I already explained you that some of the nutrients can be used and we can actually produce certain larger molecules out of the smaller molecules. We call it the anabolism, forming the large biomolecules from the smaller ones. And all this is very easy. This is something which we already read in PHSF in chapter number 3. You need to know what is the nucleus. We know that where the replication takes place. We know what is the lysosome. It removes the cell debris, unwanted foreign materials. We know what is the Golgi body. Its responsibility is to package and process the proteins, right? And then we have the mitochondria, right? Mitochondria is a very important organelle, right? Which is where this catabolic pathway will take place. Okay, so as I told you that the purpose of the catabolic pathway is that we are going to generate energy, ATP, right, from the food molecules, which I already explained you about this. Okay, then you all already know about the functions of the cell, right? This is the same thing what I explained you. Okay, so mitochondria, we know that mitochondria is present in the cytoplasm. Okay, and it's called as a cell organelle which has two membranes. This is an outer membrane, okay, and then it has the inner membrane as well. Okay, so this is the place where your Krebs cycle will take place, as well as this is the place where your electron transport chain occurs, and we can do the oxidative phosphorylation here, right? And all the enzymes which we would need for the Krebs cycle, okay, and the oxidative phosphorylation, so all these things are present in the mitochondria. Okay, so all the enzymes of TCA cycle, also called as a Krebs cycle, okay, are present in the matrix. This is the matrix of the mitochondria. Okay, the only enzyme which is not present here in the matrix is the succinate dehydrogenase. because that enzyme is tightly bound to this inner membrane. Rest all the enzymes which we would use in the Krebs cycle, they're all present in the matrix. Okay, and the enzyme, very important slide, this is the enzymes of the oxidative phosphorylation. Okay, we're going to talk about this slide again and again as we move on to Krebs cycle and then to the oxidative phosphorylation. Okay, so the enzymes for the oxidative phosphorylation are present in the cristae. Look at this, these folds are called as the cristae, right? So the enzymes are tightly bound inside, right? That is in the cristae. Okay, what is the outer membrane? This membrane. Okay, the outer membrane has lots of enzymes, right? But these enzymes cannot mix with the enzymes present inside. Okay, that is that's why, we have compartments created here in the mitochondria. Okay, so the inner membrane, as you can see, is highly folded into these cristae. Okay, so you have to, in this slide, you have to know where are the enzymes of the Krebs cycle present. You have to know where is the electron transport chain present. Okay, this is very important. So once we discuss them individually, we're going to discuss about it once again. Okay, so as I said, that the whole chapter is about two things: the citric acid cycle, also called as a Krebs cycle, also called as a tricarboxylic acid cycle. And then the second part is about the oxidative phosphorylation. Okay, and what are the important components or compounds which participate in these two pathways? Okay, you'll see that we're going to talk about ATPs here, ADPs here, AMPs here, NAD positive here, FADH2 here, coenzyme here, right? So you can just read the function from this table is important. You have to read the function, but I'm going to explain all of them in detail as we move on. So read this, very important it is. So you have to read this table, right? You should be knowing what is the function of each component which we are going to use in these two pathways, right? So what are all these? What is the ATP? ATP is for what? What is the use of ATP? Why do we have ATP?
Energy.
Yes, it is the energy currency of the cell, right? Which stores the energy in its bonds. Absolutely, very good, right? What about the NAD positive, NADH, FAD, coenzyme? What are all these? Energy carriers, absolutely. So you'll see that NAD, FAD, they are nothing, they are the dinucleotides. You know what is a nucleotide now, right? So they are the dinucleotides. We use them for the transfer of electrons. Okay. And if you remember, they're all coenzymes. Okay. If you remember last chapter, we spoke about holoenzyme, right? Holoenzyme is made up of apoenzyme, a protein part, and the non-protein part, right? In the non-protein part, we said that we can have a cofactor or a coenzyme. Remember the enzyme chapter? There was a question also on the in midterm about it, right? So these are all coenzymes. So these are all coenzymes which we use, okay, along with the enzymes. They're all organic one. Remember we said cofactor and the coenzyme. Coenzyme was the organic one, right? Which might have the vitamins as the organic part in it, right? So all of them are used as the coenzymes. They all are nucleotide derivatives. We all get them from the nucleotides. Okay, so let's start discussing one by one. Okay, here it's simply this we will do at the end. Here it's simply trying to show you that the food which we eat, it's converted into simpler one, then it enters into the citric acid cycle. Then what do we generate? We generate a lot of energy carriers, as you can see over here, right? as we generate these energy electron, sorry, not energy carriers, electron carriers, right? So all these NADH, FADH2, they are all produced in the TCA cycle, right? So finally what happens, they enter into the electron transport chain, okay, and finally by the end of it, it's just trying to show you that we will get the ATPs. That is the ultimate aim of the cellular respiration. Okay. So this we will talk about, the chemiosmosis or the electron transport chain. We will talk about this at the end of the chapter, right? In details we need to know. Okay. And then we get the ATP out of it. Okay. That is our ultimate aim of the cellular respiration. Okay. So this is an imaginary funnel shown over here. Okay, and these are the things which we come out, because the most important thing about the citric acid cycle is we release the carbon dioxide. Okay, do you know the carbon dioxide which you exhale out, where does it come from? If the question says that the carbon dioxide which we exhale out, where does it come from? Yes, Mohammed, Tanya, Tashil, Hana, where does it come from? Our cells. Absolutely, very good, Tanya. How is it produced from our cells? It's produced, no, it's produced here from the citric acid cycle. This is the source of carbon dioxide. Yes. If the question says that what is the source of CO2, the source of CO2 is that because the carbon dioxide which we exhale out comes from the citric acid cycle when it takes place in our cell. Remember this point forever. It comes from the Krebs cycle or the citric acid cycle, as you can see here in the diagram. Let me erase this. Look at this. It is as a byproduct in the citric acid cycle. Okay. Now, ATP, I will not discuss in detail. I'll just quickly tell you what you need to know about ATP, because if you remember, we did the structure of ATP in the previous chapter, right? So what is ATP? ATP is the carrier of the phosphate groups. As I can see here, I have how many phosphates in the ATP? ATP, adenosine triphosphate. I have 3 phosphate groups, right? Now the question, how many high energy phosphate bonds do we have in the ATP? Let me see if you remember it from the last chapter. I knew with this you are going to say 3. Very good, Muhammad. High energy bonds. High energy bonds. It's 2. If you remember that day also, I told you that between the phosphates we have an anhydride bond. Look at this. This is a high, the question says high energy bond, right? Even we have an ester bond, but anhydride is higher, it gives more energy than the ester one, right? So you have to say we have 2. ATP has 2 high energy phosphate bonds, like one is this one, okay, and one is this one. I mean this one, sorry, this one and this one, this one and this one, right? Between the 3 phosphates you have the 2 bonds, right? Let me erase this, right? Okay, so having said that, okay, what are the other bonds in the ATP? First of all, the structure of ATP, if you remember, we said that ATP is a nucleotide derivative, which is made up of a sugar and a base and a phosphate. Okay, the base here is the adenine, which is joined with the anomeric carbon over here. This is something which we did previously. Beta and glycosidic bond, we have it here between base and the sugar. You should be knowing all this, right? And then the bond which is present between the phosphate and the sugar. Okay, between the phosphate and the sugar we have the ester bond. This one is the ester bond, right? The phosphoric ester bond. Okay, and then already said between the phosphates we have, between the 3 phosphates we have the 2 anhydride bonds, which are the high energy phosphate bonds. So you should know about the structure, you should know about the bonds of the ATP. And you should also know that the anhydride gives us more energy than this ester bond. Okay, this is the same thing which I explained it to. So ADP has two phosphates, right? Which will give obviously less energy than the ATP, because in ATP you will have two bonds. In ADP you will have only one bond. So obviously ATP will give more energy than the ADP, right? Then we have another structure called as NAD positive, right? So this is like a nature's biological oxidizing agent is the NAD. It is present in the nature, right? We don't create it in the lab. It's there in the nature. So what is NAD? All these points are very important. NAD is a coenzyme. You know what is a coenzyme now, right? NAD is a coenzyme used in various reactions. Okay, it is a nucleotide derivative. It's a dinucleotide. Okay, which has a sugar, phosphate, as well as the base. Okay, it's a dinucleotide. Okay, now when we talk about when we talk about uh, you know what is the what is it made, as I said, it's a dinucleotide, right? So it contains two nucleotides joined through the phosphate bond. Here they have not shown it here, right? But it is made up of two nucleotides. Okay, now what is the function of the ATP? Okay, so the function of the ATP is that it simply accepts the two electrons. Okay, so it can simply accept the two electrons. So once it accepts the two electrons, so it was NAD positive, right? It will become NADH. Okay, so NAD positive will take a hydrogen ion, right, and it will be reduced to the NADH. Okay, so NAD positive will be used as an oxidizing agent, right, and this will be used as a this is a reducing agent, right? You know, oxidation is the loss of electrons, reduction is the gain of electrons, right? So you can say that NAD exists in two forms. It exists as an NAD positive, which is an oxidizing agent. It also exists as an NADH, which is a reducing form. So we'll not repeat all this because we will be using these terms again and again when we discuss the various biological pathways now. So you should know about it, right? So NADH here, which we produced here, the reducing one, it is simply, it is an electron carrier. Okay, and you will see that we will use this electron carrier to produce the ATP in the electron transport chain. You will see that. So this one is very, very important, which will be produced in the citric acid cycle. Okay, and remember, it is a nicotinamide derived, it is derived from the vitamin called as the, it's a niacin derivative. Okay, all these things you have to know about it. Okay, it's a coenzyme which carries the vitamin, right? Nicotinamide is the vitamin part of this coenzyme. Okay, are we all okay till now? Now, which part of it accepts the electrons? Okay, that is very, very important. If you see here, this is the part. If you see here, this is NAD positive. And if you see here, once it has, once it has, added, once electrons are added to it, right? So what's going to happen? Look at this. The hydrogen was added to this particular part, right? Did you all understand what I'm trying to say? So this part is very, very important because as you see here, the hydrogen is added to this part over here. Okay. So in short, NADH is the electron and the hydrogen ion transporting molecule, right? That is about the NAD. Okay. Then we have the FAD. Okay. What about FAD? Okay. FAD is quite similar to the NAD. Let me see what is the time. I think we will not be able to finish the FAD. Okay, I think we'll stop over here. Boys and girls, we'll stop over here. We could have finished this chapter, but as you know that, I gave a presentation about the research report, but that's okay. What we can do is that we'll have a combined class on Monday. Okay, so we'll finish the chapter in the Monday's class, inshallah. Would that be okay? Everybody, is it okay for everyone? So we're going to stop over here because we'll start with the FAD in the next week's class. So next week on Monday, we'll finish this chapter, inshallah, in the combined class. Okay. And again, I need to tell you that even if it's a combined class, if you need to join at your own time, that is 9 a.m. And if you have a class after 10:30 a.m., you're very free to log off from the class, but you can listen to the recording in the evening. You can listen to the recording. No need to miss other classes for my class, right? That's very, very important. Any questions till now? Are we okay till now? Okay, all clear. So I wish you all the very best for the physics exam. Okay, and start, because you have many chapters in the biochemistry, start preparing for your final exam from now onwards, right? And you know that the exam is going to be combined with the final exam, the midterm 3 exam. I've already messaged you that, right? And I've already messaged you the chapters which will be counted, the 4 chapters which will be counted for the midterm 3. So those 4 chapters will be graded twice, once for the final exam and once for the midterm, right? The way we did in the last semester. So please prepare. We have already studied 2 chapters. This is the 3rd chapter. So please finish studying those 2 chapters, okay? And start preparing for the final exam because there's a lot of chapters are there for the final exam, okay? So okay then, bye bye. I'm going to stop the recording and
Thank you, Dr.